Hello everyone, my name is Kirandeep Kaur, and now today we are on the fourth part of Upgrade Your English. So, first we are going to see some linking words or transition words. Let's look at that. First, we are going to see addition. So linking words or transition words are used when we want to add something, add one more sentence to the first sentence. अगर first sentence आपने कुछ बोला, आपने कोई statement बोला, and you want to add something more, be it contrast, be it example, be it a result of something, कोई भी चीज़ जब आपको और extra add करनी होती है main sentence में, then we use the linking words or the transition words. So, for addition, if you want to add something to the first sentence, so what are the words that you can use? First can be further, furthermore. So further add कर सकते हैं हम, furthermore add कर सकते हैं. Then moreover. Again, if you want to add something, you can use moreover. Then in addition, additionally. Then also, like for example, if you're saying that I am going for the dinner tonight, also I will think if I want to have something sweet after that. So it is just a random sentence, but whenever you want to add something more to the first main sentence, then we add these linking words. Also, you can add, you can use to. So again, to में भी आप extra sentence कुछ एक और addition add दे सकते हैं. Besides, so besides means again besides का meaning भी होता है एक और sentence, which means कि along with that, when you want to say something along with that, तो आप besides use कर सकते हैं. Then again, equally important, firstly, secondly, finally, last. So if you want to start with something and you have a few points in your mind, so you can start with firstly, then secondly, then thirdly, and also in the same way, if you're concluding, then rather than saying to conclude, you can say at last, I would like to say, or finally, I would like to conclude it with. So जब भी आपको कुछ extra add करना है, addition में कुछ बोलना है, तो these are some linking words that you can use. Now, next is comparison. So now this is also a situation that can happen कि आपने suppose कोई sentence बोला and you want to add something else. आपको कोई two sentences, कोई two situation or two people you want to compare them to something else. Suppose you are comparing two people with each other. उनका maybe their working, the way of working, or maybe their academics, or anything which is their trait. So whenever you are comparing, so there are some words that you can use, like similarly. So similarly कब use करेंगे? When we are giving a similar example. Like कोई एक आपने sentence बोला है उससे मिलता जुलता काफी similar आपने कुछ और add करना है, तब you will say similarly. Then comparable. Then in the same way. Again आपने दो situations, दो examples दिए and आप first को second से join कर रहे हो by saying in the same way. Then likewise. Again, likewise is also a sentence. As with, equally, just as so too, a similar, also another. So whenever you are comparing between two things, two situations, then you can use these words. For example, if I say that the food was excellent, likewise the wine. ठीक है, for अब इनमें से हम एक example देख लेते हैं, like for likewise. So the food was excellent, likewise the wine. So food was excellent and same was the wine. So you're comparing between the food and the wine by the word likewise. So यहाँ पे we have used one linking word or a transition word likewise. Then next is contrast. So contrast क्या होता है? Contrast is basically when we are showing a difference between two things or two people. So जब आप कोई भी word से किसी way में कोई difference show करना चाहते हैं, तब आप ये words को use करते हैं. Like however, you are giving a different perspective of something, तभी you use however. Then nevertheless. Then on the other hand, you said something and now you're giving a different perspective, a different example, a different situation. So you can say on the other hand. Also even so, though. Then notwithstanding, at the same time. Again, you're giving a different situation, you're giving a different example. Then although, otherwise, instead. It is a very commonly used word. So आप instead use कर सकते हैं. Then nonetheless, conversely, alternatively, in spite of, despite. सो डिस्पाइट क्या होता है, जैसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, इसके बावजूद। सो आपको जब आपको ये टर्म यूज करना हो ना, डिस्पाइट, तब यू विल यूज द वर्ड, मतलब बावजूद के लिए आप यूज कर सकते हैं डिस्पाइट। एंड इन स्पाइट ऑफ आप यूज करेंगे मोस्टली व्हेन यू आर गिविंग अ फैक्ट, व्हेन यू आर स्टेटिंग अ फैक्ट एंड नाउ यू आर गिविंग अ डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव टू इट, देन यू कैन यूज इन स्पाइट ऑफ। Fine. For example, if I want to give an example of a contrast transition word, so you can say, he was very ill. However, he went to the work. So he was very ill. However, he went to work. So वो he was very ill, वो काफी बीमार था, even then वो काम पे गया। So however में मतलब आप जब basically एक difference दिखाते हैं, आप कोई situations में difference दिखाते हैं, कोई people में अगर किसी लोगों में कोई difference दिखाते हैं, then you will use the contrast transition words. Now the next is time. So जब आपको कोई टाइम से रिलेटेड वन सेंटेंस से सेकंड सेंटेंस में जाना होता है, तब हम यूज करते हैं टाइम ट्रांजिशन वर्ड्स। एग्जाम्पल, मीनवाइल, मीनवाइल, देन प्रेजेंटली, एट लास्ट आई वुड लाइक टू से, सो एट लास्ट यहाँ पे आपने यूज करा है, देन फाइनली, इमीडिएटली, राइट, देयर आफ्टर, as soon as I reached home, it immediately started raining. So आपने यहाँ पे दो sentences का time से आपने उसको join किया है by adding the word immediately. Then thereafter, at that time, subsequently, eventually, currently, in the meantime, then in the past. So whenever you are wanting to join two sentences, or you want to move from one sentence to other by adding a word which is related to time, so these are some examples for that. Next, summary. Summary, ये words आप तब use करेंगे when you want to summarize. Suppose you are giving a speech and अब आपको पूरे content को, whatever you said, whatever you explained, whatever your points were during the whole speech, for the speech, आप उसको अगर summarize करोगे, उसको total up करोगे, then you will use these transition words or these linking words. So कौन से words हैं वो? Like in short. So you want to just explain it in a different way, तो आप उसको summarize कर, you can say in short I would like to say. तो आप ये बोल सकते हैं, or you can say comparable. Then you can say on the whole. It also means to sum up. Then in other words, suppose you said something, but you want to explain it even more in a better way, in a better language with simple examples, so you can say in other words I would like to say, right? Or I would like to explain it in other words by, like this. You can start with the sentence, then to be sure, clearly, then anyway, then to sum up. Again, you gave a speech and now you want to wind up, so you will say, to sum up my speech I would like to say, and then you can say your point. Then after all, in general, then it seems, in brief. So these are some words that can be used for summarizing whatever you are going to say. Now the next is result. सो रिजल्ट हम कब यूज करते हैं? जब हमें किसी चीज का एक कोई एक आउटकम बताना होता है। जब भी हम कोई आउटकम बता रहे हैं, हमने कुछ एक्सप्लेन किया, कोई एग्जाम्पल दिया या कोई सिचुएशन मेंशन करी, एंड नाउ वी वांट टू स्टेट और टेल द आउटकम ऑफ दैट, देन वी विल यूज दीज रिजल्ट लिंकिंग वर्ड्स। क्या होते हैं? लेट्स लुक। हेंस, हेंस आप यूज करते हैं रिजल्ट के लिए। इन द सेम वे, देयरफॉर, accordingly, then consequently, thus, right? Then thereupon, as a result, ठीक है? In consequence, so, then. So if I can say, as a result of not working hard, he failed in the exams. सो एज अ रिजल्ट मैंने क्या बताया? मैंने आप एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ से मैंने स्टार्ट किया, कॉज बताया, एंड देन आई गेव द रिजल्ट ऑफ इट. सो एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ नॉट वर्किंग हार्ड, ही फेल्ड इन द एग्जाम्स. सो यहाँ पर रिजल्ट कोई बताने के लिए आई यूज द लिंकिंग वर्ड एज अ रिजल्ट. So these are all those words which can be used for telling a result or for giving a result of something. Now next is example. So this actually is used a lot of times. So whenever we are communicating with someone, talking to someone about something which is related to our common interests, which is maybe related to our work, or whenever we are giving presentations, whenever we are in a meeting. This one thing, which is an example, this is used a lot of time. We give a lot of examples daily. So just think how better, how well we will be able to communicate if we know the right linking words for that. So इसके लिए क्या words use कर सकते हैं? Let's see. For example, some most common, for example, आप use कर सकते हैं. Then for instance, now for instance is a bit more formal way. आप for instance use कर सकते हैं. Then that is such as, so such as, like you can say such as, and then you can mention the, you can tell the examples. Then as revealed by, so आपने suppose you gave a maybe a result of something, and then आपको बताना है उसके बाद उसके example कि किसका result था, वो कैसे reveal हुआ. So you told a fact, you mentioned a fact, and then you mentioned an example. So you said a statement, and then you said as revealed by, and then mention the example. Then in the same way, illustrated by, then again आपको example देना है, तो illustrated by, and then you can mention the example. Then specifically, in particular, for one thing, this can be seen in, an instance of this can be, and then आप उसका example दे सकते हैं. So these are the words which we can use to give examples. Now next is place. So अगर आपको कोई place बताना हो, आपको place से related words चाहिए होंगे. Of course, if you are saying something and now आपको कुछ mention करना है जो place से related है, so आप कैसे words use कर सकते हैं इसके लिए? You can use there, here, then you can use beyond, nearby, then next to, at the point, or opposite to, adjacent to. So these are very common words. I think आपने सुना भी होगा. So adjust, opposite to, adjacent to, on the other side, in the front, or in or at the back. So जब भी आपको place, when you want to mention a location of something, the exact place of something or someone, then you can use these transition words. For example, if I use next to in a sentence, I can say, my house is next to the school. So मेरा घर स्कूल के बिल्कुल बगल में है. So what will I say? My house is next to the school. So ऐसे ही I'm standing next to the podium. So again, आपने location, you're mentioning, you're telling your location. I'm standing next to the podium. So आप अपनी location mention कर रहे हैं. So whenever you are wanting to tell a position or place or location of something or someone, then you will use these transition words. Now we are going to discuss our second topic, that is contractions in English. So what are contractions? ये मैंने इसमें इसलिए ऐड किया है because I've seen a lot of learners making mistake while using these words. So if we have an idea, अगर हम ये समझ लेंगे कि कौन से contraction का क्या meaning है, then it will be much more easier for us to use it regularly. So first we are going to see the positive contractions. So क्या होते हैं positive contractions? Expresses positive meaning within a sentence. So positive contractions एक बहुत positive meaning express करते हैं एक sentence में. हम उसको जैसे positive words and negative words होते हैं, in the same way positive contractions and negative contractions होते हैं. तो हम positive contractions कोई positive message या कुछ एक positive चीज बताने के लिए use करते हैं. Examples like I am. Apostrophe M क्या होता है? Apostrophe M stands for am. जैसे हम लोग we used to write I am good at dancing, right? So I am, I space a m लिखने की जगह we can use a contraction that is I apostrophe m. It means the same thing. ठीक है? So आप I am use कर सकते हो ना. I am is a contraction of I am. Next is apostrophe re, and this stands for are, like you are, they are. So you are, they are. आप यहाँ तो full form लिख सकते हैं like they are, you are, or you can use contractions. It and the sound will change, the pronunciation will change. You will pronounce it like your or there, right? So you are. So आप you are लिखने की जगह you can write down you apostrophe re, and it means you are. देन वी आर, दे आर, सो ये सब पॉजिटिव कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस हैं. देन apostrophe s is and has के लिए स्टैंड करता है. सो इफ यू सी कि आप कहीं पे apostrophe s है तो it can stand for is or it can stand for has. So he is, now for like example, he apostrophe s, तो वो he has भी हो सकता है and he is भी हो सकता है according to the need of the sentence. Then she is, it is, right? So इस तरह से आप contractions को use करते हैं. Then apostrophe ve stands for have, right? So I have, so rather than saying I have, you said I've. So it just means the same thing, right? You have, we have, and they have. सो ये सब कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस हैं जिसमें हमने हैव को शॉर्टन करा है बाय यूजिंग अपॉस्ट्रोफी वी. नेक्स्ट apostrophe double L, will, they will, I will, right? So I will बोलने की जगह आपने apostrophe यूज करा, आपने contraction यूज करा. It is also a positive contraction. I'll, you will, he'll, she'll, it will. So आप will को W को इतना नहीं वो करते हैं, emphasize करते हैं. You just say I'll, he'll. So it sounds like that, right? So it will, they will. So इस तरह से आप pronunciation इनको pronounce करते हो. Then apostrophe d, इसका मीनिंग क्या होता है? apostrophe d stands for had, had, had. Then also it stands for would, I would. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना I would, so हम बोलते हैं ना I'd go to market today. So I would की जगह हमने बोला I'd go to market today. So it means the same thing, right? So I would, you would, he would, she would, it would, we would, they would. So apostrophe d में आप of course w का इतना prominent sound नहीं रखेंगे. You will not pronounce that. You will say I would, he would, right? So आपने इसको भी contraction में use करा. So these all, like these examples, I'm, your, he's, I'll, I would, you would, these all contractions that are mentioned here are positive contractions. It expresses a positive meaning within a sentence. Now as we have discussed the positive contractions, हम लोग negative contractions भी देखते हैं क्या होते हैं. The negative contractions are basically which includes the word not. Not is a negative word, right? So not जहाँ पे जिन contractions में not आ जाता है वो negative contractions हो जाते हैं and that makes a verb negative और वो उस verb को negative बना देते हैं. For example, cannot, cannot अब ये full form है और इसके लिए contraction है can't. So उसको cannot नहीं बोलेंगे, then we'll say can't. And it means cannot, right? So cannot, again, not इसमें word है, this is a negative contraction. Do not, which means don't, right? Do not, full form, and D-O-N, don't, क्या हो जाएगा आपके लिए? एक हो जाएगा वो negative contraction. Then, did not, he didn't go to the school. So he did not go to the school, he didn't go to the school. It means the same thing, बस हमने difference क्या रखा है? We have used a contraction here. He didn't go to the school. So यहाँ पे भी it is, we are using the word not, which is a negative contraction. So didn apostrophe t. So ये एक negative contraction हो गया. In the same way, has not के लिए it is hasn't. Then have not के लिए it is haven't. Then will not के लिए it is won't. Now remember this thing. ये इसमें बहुत स्टूडेंट्स कंफ्यूज होते हैं. तो वो विल्ट नहीं हो जाएगा. विल नॉट के लिए आप कभी भी विल्ट यूज नहीं करेंगे. यू विल से वोंट. ठीक है. सो जो कॉन्ट्रैक्शन आप विल नॉट के लिए यूज करेंगे इन द सेंटेंस, दैट विल बी वोंट. WON apostrophe T. I won't do that. So अगर आपको उसको फुल फॉर्म में बोलना हो, अगर आपको सपोज यू आर नॉट वांटिंग टू यूज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, सो व्हाट विल यू से? यू विल से दैट आई विल नॉट डू दैट, राइट? सो अगर, और यही आपको अगर इफ यू वांट टू यूज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन हियर, व्हाट विल यू से? आई वोंट डू दैट. It means the same thing, but contraction is won't. Then would not, would not, it will be wouldn't. आप इसको तब प्रोनाउंस wouldn't, would not नहीं करेंगे, आप n का साउंड नहीं रखेंगे. You say wouldn't, wouldn't, right? Then also are not, aren't. आप इसको aren't नहीं बोलेंगे, you say aren't. Aren't is the correct pronunciation. So can't, didn't, hasn't, haven't, won't, wouldn't, aren't. So these are the words which have not, the word not in the contraction. It means basically they are the negative contractions. and you have to pronounce it the way it is written. आपको इसमें फिर n का sound prominent नहीं रखना है. Okay, so with this we have done the contractions. Now the last in the series is the tips to improve your English speaking. So हम बहुत पढ़ते हैं, हम बहुत सारे वीडियोस भी देखते हैं, हम रीड करते हैं that how can we improve our English speaking, because what happens is mostly whenever we go to talk to somebody, अगर if the person starts speaking in English, it happens कि हमें we are able to understand everything. We can understand whatever they are saying, every single word. But when we are supposed to speak, when it is our chance to speak, we just get very underconfident. तब हम नहीं बोल पाते. So हम उस चीज को कैसे improve करेंगे, उसके लिए कुछ tips and tricks I'm going to give you. So let's see. First is set a target for yourself. That is my suggestion. जब भी हम कभी भी अपने लिए एक टारगेट रख लेते हैं ना, सो वी गिव आर 100% टू अचीव दैट. एंड दैट इज वाई एम सेइंग कि इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप अपने लिए एक टारगेट सेट कर लो, बिकॉज द मोमेंट यू सेट अ टारगेट, आप उसके लिए 100% देने लग जाओगे. सो दैट इज वाई ऑलवेज बेटा सेट अ टारगेट. Set a target कि okay, in the next 6 months I will be doing I will be speaking English very confidently. I want to, I want to be able to come on the stage and speak on any topic. So जब आप अपने लिए एक टारगेट रख लोगे, so आप खुद मोटिवेटेड रहोगे to achieve that, right? Next, learn the latest vocabulary. Vocabs are very important, and that is why I covered so many vocabulary words, phrases in this series, because ये सबसे ज़्यादा integral part होता है हमारे English speaking का. Because the more and more we'll use the upgraded and the latest vocabulary, the more native we will sound, and that is our main motive, right? Although इसका अब English बोलने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप foreign accents accept करो, उसको follow करो. No, of course not. But just make sure that whenever you are speaking, speak confidently and try to use the latest vocabulary, because then you will sound upgraded. And actually, it will give a impression that, okay, this person has a good knowledge of the language. And we all want that, right? So set a target first, and then जब आप target set करते हैं, तभी you will have to put efforts to achieve that. And वो efforts यहाँ पे हैं. That start learning the latest vocabulary. Read books. अब उसके लिए क्या करें? उसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? Now the next is actually the tip for you. Watch relevant videos or targeted content. ये हमारी tip है for the latest vocabulary. क्या vocabulary कैसे हम build करेंगे? आपको I would suggest read more and more. I know आपको लगता है oh this is such an old method. Reading कौन करता है? But just try to develop a habit. ऐसे नहीं करिए. I'm not saying कि just buy a thick novel and just start reading it. No, I know it is not possible for a person who is not having a habit of reading. It is very difficult for that person. So what you can do is that you can start with, one page, or at least 2-3 pages a day. That is possible. So buy any book that you like, any good book, right? And then start reading at least 3 pages a day. इतना ज़्यादा ये बड़ा टारगेट भी नहीं है. That is also small target under this big target. So 3 pages a day and read it thoroughly. And आपको जो भी न्यू वर्ड्स लगे जस्ट अंडरलाइन दैट, एंड एक जगह पे उसको सर्च करिए, उसका मीनिंग देखिए और एक जगह लिख लीजिए. एंड वीकली जस्ट गो थ्रू दोज वर्ड्स वंस, जस्ट वंस. एंड आपको खुद रियलाइज नहीं होगा आपके माइंड में वो कैसे रजिस्टर होने लग जाएंगे. एंड देन वंस इट इज रजिस्टर्ड इन योर माइंड, यू विल ऑटोमेटिकली स्टार्ट यूजिंग दोज वर्ड्स, एंड आपके लिए इट विल बी मच मोर इजियर एंड यू विल साउंड स्मार्ट. Then watch relevant videos. Other example or a tip can be that you can watch videos, targeted content. By targeted content I actually meant कि जो आपका target, अब what happens is whenever we use social media or whenever we open YouTube, what do? जो video आता है हमें interesting लगता है, we start seeing that video कि अच्छा इसमें क्या है, इसमें क्या है, let's see. Okay, just for fun you're watching videos, you're watching movies, rather than watching and spending time on those unnecessary videos and content. Try कि आप वही time targeted content को consume करने के लिए use करें. और वो videos जैसे for example English related videos, the videos that we upload here on the page, or a movie. There are so many English movies on YouTube. There are so many movies on the other platforms. Watch them with the subtitles on, of course. सबटाइटल्स ऑन इसलिए रखने हैं बिकॉज अभी एज यू पीपल आर वेरी न्यू इट विल हेल्प यू अलॉट. सो इन केस यू फेल्ट कि ओके मैंने कोई वर्ड मिस कर दिया, आप तुरंत सबटाइटल पे देख सकते हैं साथ साथ में. सो यू विल नॉट मिस द वर्ड एंड दो स्मॉल स्मॉल लिंकर्स दैट द नेटिव स्पीकर्स यूज, यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. सो जब आपको वो हैबिट में आ जाएगा हाउ डू दे कनेक्ट द सेंटेंसेस, हाउ दे स्पीक, देन आप ऑटोमेटिकली आपको रियलाइज भी नहीं होगा कब आपको यूज करने लग जाएंगे. So that is why watch targeted content and of course you will be entertained. So watch relevant videos, consume the relevant and targeted content. So वही टाइम जो आप सोशल मीडिया पे unnecessary videos, reels देखते हैं, उस टाइम को आप कंज्यूम करिए by watching targeted content. That will actually help you improve your English. Then develop a habit of reading, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, develop a habit and start with a smaller target. बहुत ज्यादा बड़े बड़े टारगेट आप सेट करेंगे, इतनी थिक सी नॉवल एंड सेट ओके इसको मैं 1 वीक में पूरा करूंगा, नो दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. आई नो इफ अ पर्सन हु इज नॉट हैविंग अ हैबिट वो कैसे कर लेगा. सो स्टार्ट विद अ यू नो स्मॉल टारगेट्स, 3 pages a day, and then you will automatically develop a solid habit that okay अब आफ्टर 25 to 30 days you'll feel कि अच्छा कुछ मिसिंग है, ओके आई हैव टू रीड द बुक. सो इस तरह से आपकी हैबिट बिल्ड हो जाएगी. सो डू दैट. मेक यूज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया. सोशल मीडिया का यूज करिए. व्हाई आई एडेड दिस पॉइंट हियर इज बिकॉज now these days people are using very good vocabulary in their stories, in their captions, even on the reels, right? So social media पे जो videos आ रहे हैं, जो captions आ रहे हैं, जो stories आती हैं, उस पे बहुत अच्छी इंग्लिश, बहुत अच्छे vocabs होते हैं. मतलब ऑफ कोर्स जस्ट मेक श्योर कि आप किसी रिलायबल पर्सन के कंटेंट को कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं. जस्ट डोंट गो फॉर एनीबडी, but still there are some pages dedicated, there are some people who actually use very good English, very good vocabulary, the sentence construction is also very good. So आप उस पे ध्यान देना स्टार्ट करिए and then try to use that on your own. अपने आप भी इसको अप्लाई करो, अपने आप भी इसको यूज करना स्टार्ट करो. It will help you out. Next, think in English. What happens, हम कहाँ लैक करते हैं, when we try to speak, when we are in that path कि okay हमें English improve करनी, what happens is we think in Hindi and then we convert it into English and then हम उसको बोलते हैं और उसमें बहुत टाइम लग जाता है और हम उसमें कहीं ऐसी जगह पे फंस जाते हैं जहाँ पे हम अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट हो जाते हैं दैट ओके ओके मुझे नहीं आ रहा है, आई डोंट नो व्हाट टू से नाउ, सो ओके लेट्स स्विच टू हिंदी. सो इसके लिए एक ही सोल्यूशन है दैट यू नीड टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग इन इंग्लिश. जैसे आप हिंदी में इंग्लिश में सोचना स्टार्ट कर देंगे ना, आपको अपने आप लगेगा दैट आप सेंटेंसेस बोल पा रहे हैं, आप सेंटेंसेस बना पा रहे हैं. यू विल फील एक्चुअली फील दैट. इवन आई हैव अप्लाइड इट, आई हैव ट्राइड इट एंड इट वर्क्स. सो डेफिनेटली ट्राई दैट. जैसे ही आप बोल रहे हैं ना, आप उससे पहले अपने आप से भी व्हेनेवर यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट समथिंग, व्हेनेवर यू आर प्लानिंग कि अच्छा ऐसे करते हैं, नाउ आई विल डू दिस, आई विल डू दैट, थिंक इन इंग्लिश, talk to yourself in English and you will see the result on your own. Then follow the mirror technique. Again, like I said, talk to yourself in English, think in English, follow this technique, and this is a very, very good technique. Stand in your room in front of the mirror and speak to yourself, talk to yourself on any random topic. Just even if nothing, just talk about your day. Tell what all happened, what you liked, what you didn't like. Talk about it in front of the mirror with yourself, right? Then take pauses while speaking. Taking pauses is very important because it helps you to think about the point which you're going to say now later, right? So pauses लेना सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं जरूरी है कि okay it will sound better. Of course it does. It just keeps the audience engaged in listening what you are having to say, but it also helps the speaker to think आगे उनको क्या बोलना है. So definitely take pauses. आपको सोचने का टाइम मिलेगा. Be in an English speaking environment. Surround yourself with the people who speak in English. Because if nothing works, आप एटलीस्ट सुनेंगे कि वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, और जब आप सुनेंगे आप ऑटोमेटिकली वैसा ही सोचने लगेंगे, वैसा ही बोलने लगेंगे. दैट इज वाई एनवायरमेंट, द कंपनी मैटर्स इन एवरी वे, इन एवरी सिचुएशन. दैट इज वाई सराउंड योर सेल्फ with an English speaking environment with the people who like to converse in English. Be a go getter. So again, go, don't just run away, don't escape कि अच्छा कोई आया आपसे बात करने and you know this person is going to speak in English, आप धीमे से वहां से चले गए. No, don't do that. Be there, have the courage, talk to them. It's okay, nobody cares. अगर आपसे mistake भी हुई है, that's fine, it's okay, everybody does that. आपको क्या करना है, आपको बोलना है. Be very dedicated कि okay I have to achieve my target and be a go getter and speak to them in English. and assess yourself. Check yourself, actually assess how much you are working and what is the progress. So with this, we have come to the end of the video, and do apply these tips and tricks, and I'm sure it will help you a lot. Thank you.